Man, if your brother and your pops play and you coming up in Mississippi, you wasn't kind of geared towards to play football?
I was, but I was 6'10". Like my dad is 6'2". My older brother's 6'2". Funny story. I have two brothers, right? I'm the middle boy. We all weighed the same at our prime, all within that 250, 260 range. The difference is my older brother was 6'2", 260. I was 6'10", 260. And my younger brother, who was also a hooper, was 6'6", 260. So it's like three different body styles, three different body types. But yeah, I wanted to play football my whole life. And then between the 9th and 10th grade, I grew 6 inches. That was a wrap. Like, football ain't in the cards no more.
You know what they say, Tone? I just got to hit you with it, man. How tall was the mailman?
You know, I know you say that jokingly, but both of my brothers used to joke me about that.
I know.
So, yeah.
I'm just saying, Pop's 5'10" to 6'2".
No, but my mom is 5'11".
Oh, there it is right there.
And I had a granddad who was 7 foot, so it was in the lineage. It was in there. I ain't gonna throw my pops away like that. I ain't gonna take it from him like that. But yeah, it was definitely a height difference.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
Agee, the man, joining us today on the Hoop Dreams podcast. He's a father, an athlete, a broadcaster, a moneymaker. We call them entrepreneurs. He is a Mississippi native who played college ball at SIU, Southern Illinois University, as well as Georgia and Pfeiffer before going on to play, get this, Agee, 10 years in the league, man. Not one, not two, not three, 10 years in the league, 4 years overseas. He played with the Lakers, the Grizz, the Blazers, the Clips, Sonics, and the Hawks before going on to an 11-year run as an analyst with the Portland Trail Blazers. And he ain't stopped there. Then he said, you know what, I got to go make some real money. Then he became what I like to call an early pioneer in the legal side of the cannabis business, starting multiple companies and eventually merging them into Legends Food Beverage. We'd like to welcome to the Hoop Dreams podcast, the one and only Mr. Big Time himself, Antonio Harvey. I'm Will Gates, and that's my dog.
Man, Arthur Agee, Big Tone, thanks for coming on the show, man. Let me let you know, I see that. What you said, I got my lighter ready. Let's go.
What's happening, guys? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. We're so glad you're here, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Boy, I was doing so much research on you, man. I said, yeah, I remember Tone. I said, yeah. So I got so much stuff, man, that I want to ask you. But let me just throw this first question, and we hit all our guests with this, man. Have you ever seen the movie Hoop Dreams? And if you have, what were your thoughts?
Oh, man, yes, of course I've seen the movie Hoop Dreams. And I really think, it's the truest side of the game, but it's also like it's not what you should aim for, right? Like I hate when people say they tell the story only 1% of this and that and the other thing. It's like, yeah, but why can't I be the 1%? So don't try to kill my hoop dreams just because you couldn't make it or you didn't make it. So my mindset, from the movie was, hey, I understand that not everybody gets in, but you know what? Somebody does. And in life, if somebody can do it, then damn it can be me. And that's literally the way I live my life.
Absolutely. Preach that again. Yes, sir. Boy, that's real there. I think that might be the first time we had a guest that has come on and literally spit it like that. Because most guests been like, man, it's a great story. It's a humanitarian story. It's more than basketball. But I love that perspective. Hey, I'm going for it. Don't shoot it down.
Hey, so I've always lived my life, and I was blessed. I grew up in a single parent household. I had two brothers. My older brother played in the NFL. My dad, who was in and out, he played in the NFL. Nobody thought we could do that, right? That was not supposed to be a part of my equation, but I did it. And we were always taught no plan B, right? You go as hard as you can go. You give it everything you got, because if you fail giving it everything you have, you still fail forward.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not push for the NBA? Let's say worst case scenario, I push for the league and then I do 12 years in Europe, making a couple $100,000 a year, right? Life ain't so bad.
No,
and that's right. Same thing around here. Like my wife and I went for it and now we're here and life ain't so bad.
Man,
I like the way you say that, Agee. Life ain't really that bad. I feel that.
So how was that Mississippi playground ball coming up?
You know what? You know what's funny, man, is I give all of my success to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, right? And I say that because when I was growing up, first we played outside. It was, and you're in Houston, so or in Texas, so it's hot as fish grease and it's humid as hell, right? So between the two, you playing outside all the time, you develop a different type of blood, for lack of a way of putting it. Then we talk so much trash all day long that when I got to the league, like people talk about Gary Payton talking trash. Listen, I heard all of that on the playgrounds in high school. Like, I mean, no knock on GP, but like, nah, dog, like, okay, it was normal behavior. What GP did was normal for where I grew up. So when I say I give it credit for that, man, they ironed me. Like they made me iron sharpens iron. They created an iron mentality because that was the only way I knew. Like I'm not gonna finish this fight. And I know both of y'all old enough to recognize this statement. We gonna fight till I win.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
And you know what's funny? I think you guys can recognize this too. It ain't a lot of fights back when we were growing up because that was the mentality. Yeah. We gonna fight till I win, which means guess what? We gonna fight till you win. So we gonna fight all damn day. So let's just not fight at all and call it quits.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, I was gonna even throw this at you. I was gonna say, shoot, man, the playground, that's where you learn not to even call fouls. No blood, no foul.
No blood, no foul. Man, it's a mentality. We could talk about that. Could be a whole show as far as I'm concerned, but
absolutely.
It's just a difference in the mentality, man. Growing up in Mississippi, plus being a black kid in the 70s in Mississippi, they did not think we had the acumen to be able to do the things we do. And so that was a part of the challenge. Oh, you don't think I'm smart enough. Oh, you don't think I'm athletic enough. Oh, you don't think I'm this. I'm going to do it just because you don't think I can.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because we had a guest on not too long ago, and I'm jumping a little ahead a little bit, but we'll round it back. But the guest, and I want to get your thoughts on this because the guest was like, that American basketball players are not that smart and the overseas basketball players are intelligent. One, it disturbed me because I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, what are you trying to say? We dumb? Because I'm looking like, man, I know I get it. 99% of the league is African American. So we got, and they always throw the same two guys at you. They hit you with Joker, they hit you with Luka. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, so you saying Bron ain't smart? Jordan wasn't smart? Magic wasn't smart? Kareem wasn't smart? Like, what's your thoughts on that, man, when you hear stuff like that?
Oh, man. So, obviously I did the broadcast thing, so I've heard it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, there's 400, maybe 500 people in the league. They point to two. There's over 100 Euro players in the league right now. They point to 2%. 2% of the Euros are worth pointing at. Now let's take the other, so there's at least 400 guys left. Let's take the other 40. So let's take 40%. I can name them. I can name, is Kevin Durant an intellectual basketball player? Hell yeah, he is. Every team. What about James Harden? What about Joel Embiid? What about, let's just run them down by roster. What about Banchero, right? Shea Gilgeous, whatever, Alexander in Oklahoma City. Damian Lillard, right? Well, he got LeBron. I mean, come on, man. Like, there is nobody smarter in the game than LeBron James. And how about that whole Golden State roster? Like, I'm tired of the narrative that Euro players are smarter. No, they're slower.
Yes.
They're less athletic.
Yes.
So they have to adjust their game to be a different type of basketball. Doesn't make them more intelligent. I, years ago, man, and I never finished it, but I started a book called The Genius of Athletes, right? Because think about geometry on a jump shot. And I was inspired watching Brandon Roy. B. Roy could pull up and on a whim, like instantly change the trajectory of his jump shot based on where the defender is and how he's playing him. You don't think that's genius? That's a level of mathematics that's happening in his brain instantly. It's physics, it's math, it's all of that, art, science, all of that happening at once. But they'll tell me that he ain't that smart. Man, get out of here with that.
They'll say that it's athletics. They'll say that he's an athlete. He's athletic. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I think the gentleman pointed out was, and I want to get your thought on this too, he pointed out that, that these guys are great passers and they rather pass the ball than score the ball. But I say, my thing is, but when I look at his numbers, he's averaging 30. So he obviously is shooting the basketball. Yeah, he may be getting, 8 assists. Like, I had an argument with a guy, man, just yesterday at the barbershop, and I'm telling him Trae Young is just as good as Luka. I said they numbers, since Trae walked into the league, he's been getting 26, 27, 10. I said he's leading the league in assists right now.
Yep.
And I said, he's getting you 5-6 rebounds. No, man, Luka's just so much more. He's just a better, more intelligent player. What are we talking about?
Well, is that uncommon? Go ahead. I'm sorry, dog.
No. I mean, I was just going to say, like, it never really, that term, like, never really bothered me in that sense, because I always felt psychologically that the person or group of people who think that way is because they're thinking in their head of how the game is supposed to be played. But you can't put that on individuality of guys that's, have all range of different types of talent and all that. And you can't say that they're not intelligent ball players. So I always thought it was just a general thing of how they thought the game should be played. And then let me sneak this in. What is playing the right way? Is that intelligent?
Or is it winning? I'll tell you what it is for me.
That's what it is. What it is, Big Tone.
It's getting that jewelry. So all right, so we know what we're saying. We don't necessarily want. I'll say it. It's racist. It's steeped in institutional racism, right? They can't find an American white boy to play basketball at the level that brothers play, right? So they go to Europe, and don't get me wrong. I'm taking nothing from Joker. I'm taking nothing from Doncic. I'm taking nothing from none of them cats. But I'll give you one. And if you're in Texas, you're going to recognize this. The best example I can give of how they want to whitewash the NBA is Dirk Nowitzki's statue in Dallas. A one-leg fadeaway. They give him all the credit for the one leg fadeaway. I had to guard. No, that's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Dream used to do a spin, step in, step back, fade, and release it.
Yep.
He was the first one doing that on a regular basis, and I know because I had to guard Dream. I remember, like, where in the hell did that come from? Like, you know, I knew he had the Dream shake. I was ready for that.
That's
well,
right. That's right.
I wasn't ready for that, but you know what I mean.
Right.
But I had seen that, and then all of a sudden, dude, pop, and fades back with leaning and let it ride. High archer in the rim. Nobody talks about Dream's fade away. They only talk about Dirk's fade away. You know why? Because Dirk was a white boy that did it first.
Well, how about this one? How about this one? Which this is the one that gets me. The Euro step. Come on.
Seriously.
I was doing that in grade school.
Change of direction.
Yes.
That's it. That's all it was called.
It's a change of direction. But no, we're going to give it the Euro step because Manu came in. And let's be clear, Manu ain't from Europe. Manu's from South America. So we need to call that the South American step. Stop playing with me.
Right.
That's right.
Like, there's a lot of this stuff that's going on in the league right now.
If you go back, you can see Drazen Petrovic do it. And the other guy.
All of them did it. Marshallonis, all of them. Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you, the other thing that frustrates me is when I hear this conversation about Joker and how great he is and how unique he is. Does nobody remember Arvydas Sabonis? Do we forget about what Sabas could do had he been? Come on, man. Like nothing new under the sun, folks. If you're a basketball historian, you recognize Joker's great, but he ain't no better than Sabas. Luka Doncic is great, but he ain't no better than Bird. In fact, I'd like to see that comparison. What's Luka's numbers compared to Bird's? Similar, except Bird got 3 rings. A little bit of jewelry for Larry Bird. Like, stop it, folks. Stop it. We got to stop with this. With this. Oh, come on. All right. At any rate, I'm gonna get off the racist stuff. We know what it is.
Yeah. But I just want to throw that at you, man. But on the podcast, man, you know, we call it the Hoop Dreams podcast, but it's about you, man. So, who put the ball in your hand?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would probably say my older brother. Right? Like, he started me late. Like, I you know, a lot of people don't know this, so I'll share it with you guys. I didn't start playing basketball until I was 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
Like, I was always a little bit taller than everybody else, right? So after the 9th grade year, I had a big growth spurt. I went from 6'4" to 6'10". And I was always a tall, kind of goofy kid anyway, because I was so rangy and so skinny. Then I had the growth spurt, and that was when my older brother was like, hey, we got to get serious about this. Like, you have a talent. Now, physically, you know, man, I was 6'10" with a 38-inch vertical. So physically, I was unlike the rest of the league. So he got me started and really started challenging me. And then, you know, I got to college. When I went through high school, I played 1 year of varsity basketball. I was, funny story, I was 3rd team All-American, but I wasn't all conference.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. In high school, I was in Mississippi. Now, keep in mind, like I say that, but I also got to put a caveat out there. I graduated my senior year. We had, Clarence Witherspoon, Lindsey Hunter, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Lateral Green, me. We had 6 guys go to the league that class. And then the next year was James Robinson and a couple of other guys. So we had talent. But what happened was my high school team, I was the 4th best player in high school. We had 5 Division I athletes, but I had a hell of a summer. The summer before my senior year, I did a bunch of touring camps and made a name for myself. And that's where the 3rd team All-American came from. But on my roster, I was still the 4th best player.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, you know, I said it earlier, I give credit to Mississippi and how it brought me along. The only reason I made it into the league was because I knew how to be a teammate. So I was the 4th best player on my high school team. I was the second best player on my college team at Pfeiffer. My point guard, Tony Smith, greatest point guard I ever played with. He was 5'7", averaged 30 and 10 through 4 years of college. Unreal. Unlimited range. He had Steph Curry range back in 88. But I've never been the best player on my roster. So I had to learn how to be a teammate in order to make it. And so when I got to the Lakers my rookie year, that's what it was. It was like, man, how am I going to make this roster? I don't have no guarantees. How am I going to get in here? Ooh, when those guys go out to the club tonight, I'm going to go study the playbook. When the coach says, get on the line, when everybody else is bent over, grabbing their shorts, I'm going to get back to the line and stand up like I ain't hurting, even though my heart's literally about to explode out of my chest. But I'm not going to let them see that. They're going to think, this kid's in great shape and he's willing to do this and he knows all the plays. So that's kind of where the game evolved from me, was just being a teammate. And my brother got me started, and then it was just my passion after that.
I mean, being a fourth best player on your team, like, that says to me, that's where you learn how to compete at.
Oh yeah,
where you learn how to go against other guys that people think better than you or whatever. I have to show these guys, like, I ain't afraid of them. Like, I can play on this level, like that competitive confidence that you have.
Yep. And now, so say that I say I was the fourth best player, but I also got to put some asterisks around that, not asterisks, but some parentheses around that. The leading scorer averaged 18 points a game. I averaged 15.5. So we compressed our team was so good that the scoring and the rebounding and everything was so compressed. We started 6'2", 6'4", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10".
They had a Kentucky team in high school.
My two guard ended up playing at Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, Dale Brown, he played in the Final Four against Michigan in New Orleans when the game he got hurt. Michigan went on to win the game. Jamal Mashburn, that whole squad.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had a whip. My power forward, who was my best friend, played at UAB. My point guard played at Texas A&M. And then Fred went to University of Louisiana. Not Louisiana State, but University of Louisiana.
Who was the point guard that played at UAB?
Oh, no, that was my power forward. His name was Elbert Rogers. 6'7", 6'8". Dale Brown. Isaac Brown is now the head coach at Wichita State. That's my point guard. He's now the head coach there. Like, man, like I said, man, we were iron. We were iron sharpening iron. Like, all of us went on to do beyond just high school, beyond just college stuff. So it was a good look.
And it's so crazy you hit on that, because I mean, when I asked you that, said you had to be competitive and all that. Now these guys is friends on TikTok and they play like they friends on the court. Like, it ain't no Isaiah Magic, like that whole, we on the court now, it's war, it's a battle. I'm gonna knock you out just like I'm what?
Oh, that's it. When I told y'all guys, I went on a tour the summer before my senior year, and that's when I made a name for myself. One of the games we played a big tournament in Kentucky. I can't remember the name of it now, but we played against a team called ARC Mid-Valley, ARC Mid-Valley, California. They had Derek Martin, Don McClain, Tracy Murray, Mitchell Butler. They had a bunch of NBA guys. Mm-hmm. Well, being from Mississippi, Don McClain was the first white boy I'd ever seen that could actually get down. Like, get down. And he talked trash, right? So we're in this tournament, and Don McClain is giving me the business. I think he ended up with like 30. Giving me the business.
That's the UCLA kid, right?
Yes.
All right.
Giving me the business, talking trash. And like I said, I don't mind talking trash. I was cool with that. But he was just yapping. The funny part of the story is, after that, I didn't see Don until our rookie year. The summer before our rookie year in LA, playing pickup ball, leading into training camp. And I'm sitting in the gym. Now I went through summer league. I'm on the roster. I know I'm in the league. I had seen him on TV a couple of times with the Bullets. He walks in the gym. dog, I swear to God, I saw red. Like, oh, oh, that's that dude. That's that dude. I gotta have his. He gonna get it today. After about 5 days of that, like real talk, after about 5 days of that, he said, Harv, man, what I do to you, man? And I had to like self-analyze, like, man, you're gonna love this. And then I told him the story, and we became really good friends after that. But you talk about the competitive nature of us versus today's game. We said it earlier. We gonna fight till I win. When I saw Don McClain, he beat me. So guess what? It's on and popping. Like what they say today, it's on site. It was on site with Don McClain.
Now, who do you blame for that though, man? Because clearly there's an element that made the game change to what it is now. Who lies fault with that?
I don't think it's a person. I think it's just the general basketball circuit that exists. Social media, access, right? Like I know who Shawn Kemp was, but I didn't know Shawn Kemp. Right. Shawn and I are the same. I knew who Zoe was, Alonzo Mourning. I knew who he was, but I didn't know him. Right. I just knew he played my position and that he was ranked in front of me, and that if I ever got a chance to play him, I had to show up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes go to the same tournaments, right? And they play on the same teams. You know, like Nike or Adidas or whoever it is, they have the 10 best players in the country playing on the same roster. All them dudes gonna get drafted next year, right? So, and now they friends because they didn't spend the whole damn summer together. You know, I heard, what's his face? The boy from Golden State, Draymond Green.
Okay.
Calling LeBron the greatest of all time. I don't have an argument over if it's LeBron or if it's MJ. I tell you who it never would have been, in my eyes. It was never going to be Gary Payton or Shawn Kemp or anybody that I considered my contemporary. You see what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Yeah.
If I'm calling you the greatest of all time, I'm already admitting that I can't play with you.
That's right.
So I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm always competing. Now, years later, maybe I can give you that love. Kobe Bryant is a great example of that for me.
Okay.
I came in 93. Kobe came in 96. I couldn't stand that dude. Like he was, because he was arrogant and good and he worked and he did all the stuff that, you know.
Yeah.
And he won. But then when I retired and now I'm not competing against you anymore. Now I can observe. Then I'm like, oh, man, this dude puts in a lot of work. Damn, he puts in a lot of work. Then he retired, and now we're not competitive at all. Now I can go back and look at the mentality and the mindset and the work ethic. And I'm like, man, why do we have this conversation about Kobe and Mike about Mike and LeBron without putting Kobe in the conversation?
Right. That's disrespectful.
Again,
that's disrespectful already. Come on, man.
Right. And again, I don't have a dog in the fight, because if you pick MJ, you're right. If you pick LeBron, you're right. If you pick Kobe, you're right. Shit, if you pick Kareem, you're right. If you pick Wilt, you're right. It's all about what's for you.
Yeah.
But to not put Kobe in the conversation, knowing what he did and how he did it, is disrespectful, and we got to stop that. We got to, man, this dude, I make my son watch Kobe videos nonstop, really learn the mentality, because dude was ridiculous. Relentless is the only way to describe him. Sorry, I can go on tangents about hoops, man. I don't know if y'all can tell.
No, we can't.
We love it.
Hey, we students of the game, man. I know I am. So look, Harv, let me ask you this though. Because you hit on this, because you said that your brother had told you, you can go do something with this game because the league had never seen nothing like you before. So let's talk about your game from high school to college to pro, the maturation of how you had to change and add certain things to your game for you to even stick in the league for 11 years.
So high school, I was an athlete, right? I would just run down the court, catch the ball, jump over people, dunk it. When I was recruited coming out of high school, I had college coaches like come in and tell me, one of the things we love is that you're a blank slate. You're a 6'10" uber athlete. We can create what we want, right? And for me, though, it was my idols, Scottie Pippen. My idols were less back to the basket, more perimeter-oriented bigs because I was 6'10", 210, right? When I was that age, I was so light, I couldn't go up and over people. I had to go around them. So I developed a more perimeter-oriented game. But my rookie year, I make the Lakers team. I play everywhere from small forward to center, right? My second year, Dale Harris gets the job with the Lakers, and I'm going through training camp. I spent all summer, it's a true story. I spent all summer working on my jump shot, perfecting my jump shot out to the three-point line. I'm stroking it. I'm having a great summer. Get to training camp. I'm having a great training camp. Dale Harris calls me in his office. Harv, I got a place for you on the roster, but it's not shooting. I need you rebounding and blocking shots. That was my last jump shot of training camp right there.
My last jump shot. He's like, okay, all right, I'm going to do all that, but then stay on the team? All right, I got you, coach.
So when you ask, like, how my game evolved, I really don't know that my game evolved. My mentality evolved, right? Like the part, we talk about the years in the NBA, but what the part of the story that gets kind of left out is that I did 4 years in the league. Then I went to Europe for 2 years and had to make it back, right? And that's where the mentality change was. I mean, I was killing it in Europe. I was averaging, 18 points and 10 rebounds. I was leading every league in block shots. Like, I was doing work in Europe, but I felt like I had let myself down at my time in the league because, as you guys are, I'm sure, well aware, it's one thing to make it, it's a different thing to stay.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Right? Making it, you have one expectation. Staying is a different expectation. Right. And so when I went to Europe for those 2 years, I worked on my game, but I also worked on my mentality. The mentality of get low. How low can you go to make it? Other people want to be here. I'm willing to go sub basement if that's what it takes to get to where I'm trying to go. And a lot of people don't want to do that.
Can you break that down for some of our listeners to understand what that means?
So when I say get low, I mean, like, what's the most base element to making it, whatever that is. So for me, it was hustle, right? Who's going to outwork you? Nobody. Who's going to stay longer than you? Nobody. Who's going to be in the weight room longer than you? Nobody. Who's going to execute the way the coach tells you to more than you? Nobody. And that became the mentality. I'm not trying to be a star in the NBA no more. I just don't want to go back to Europe. And if that means I got to not play to be on a roster and just show up every day at practice and kill it in practice, knowing I won't get in the game, cool. That's what I'll do. My first year in Portland, we had a young Jermaine O'Neal. And let's be very clear, Jermaine O'Neal as a young kid was a monster.
Absolutely.
We had Rasheed Wallace, Arvidas Sabonis, Brian Grant playing in front of him.
Yep.
We had a couple of injuries, and for whatever reason, Mike Dunleavy, I think it's because I was a veteran at that time, was playing me in front of Jermaine. Jermaine had just signed a new contract. This was like the first 5 or 6 games of the season. And my agent called me and said, hey, I'm going to get you out of there. I got some other teams we're talking to. Now, I'd already made the Blazers roster. But my agent calls and says, hey, I got some other teams looking because they want to shut you down. I'm like, what do you mean, shut me down? I'm playing good basketball. He said, yeah, you are. That's why I can get you to other teams. But they want Jermaine to play in front of you. This is the upper management wanted J.O. to play. And rightfully so, by the way. Again, I'm not saying I was better than Jermaine. I wasn't even close. But they made the decision. The coaching staff made the decision. Man, I told my agent, don't you pull me nowhere. If I got to sit on the bench to make this money and be in the NBA, I'm good. What I will not do is sacrifice this opportunity for my ego. Not gonna let that happen. When I made the team in Seattle, Nate McMillan came down the first day and said, Harv, just so you know, I have no minutes for you. None. but I got a roster spot. I need you to balance out my locker room. I got 2 guys that like to drink and party, and I need you to take these other 9 young kids and teach them the NBA. So mentality it wasn't that I didn't jump as high, I didn't run as fast, didn't shoot as well. Man, my whole mentality flipped when I got back to the league. Like, I don't sit my ass in the back of the locker room and do what the coach tells me to do and make this money and get low and stay low until this thing is over with. And I wrote it out for I played another 6 or 7 years after that. Like, okay, I can do this. The only time it hurt me was when I went back to Europe at the end of my career because I couldn't figure out how to become a star again. I had spent so much time being a good teammate, but when you're in Europe, they want you to lead the team in scoring and rebounding and block shots and assists and field goal percentage. I didn't have that mentality. So I would kill it in practice and then get in the game and not even be present. And they couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why at the time, but hey, it is what it is, man. I got 14 years out of them. A lot of people don't do that, so I'll take them.
I know that's right.
Crazy.
Hey, talk to us a little bit, man, because you had a journey to even get to the league, man, in terms of your college recruiting. I mean, you Southern, Georgia, Pfeiffer. Tell us about that recruiting journey, because that takes mentality too, though.
Well, I can tell you that the first few years were ego driven, right? Like I said, I was a late bloomer. I was in a lot, the other side is I was a 17-year-old graduate, right? I should have been held back a year at some point earlier. And I think had my mom known I was going to be 6'10", she probably would have. But I was also such a headache at home. She was probably happy to get my ass up out of there. But so I got to SIU, and we were actually planning to redshirt my freshman year because I was so young and so raw. Then I get there, and I'm just killing everybody. At my position, I'm putting in work. So they were like, "No, we're going to play you." So I ended up playing my freshman year. But it was sporadic. Like, I'll never forget, we played I think it was St. Louis University, and I had a really good game. And then the next game, I don't play. Or play limited minutes. And the coach is like, "Wow, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on a freshman, yada, yada." It was a bunch of bull jive. So I just remember thinking, I got to get out of here. And the coach that recruited me, and that's a whole conversation, but the coach that recruited me, Robert McCullum, who's now the head coach at FAMU, Coach Mack started out at South Alabama. I'm going to make this story as quick as I can. Coach Mack started out at South Alabama, which is close to home. It's about 30 minutes from home. My older brother was at a camp at South Alabama basketball camp because he was a two-sport athlete with his team. Coach Mack saw me. He knew I was young and tall. Put a basketball in my hand. First one, right? Went to what they call it, the food shack, and got one of the little camp balls, gave me a ball. Anyway, and he started recruiting me then. So when he got to SIU, I had 187-ish college scholarship offers, and I chose a mid-major. They ended up what they call it, investigating the recruitment process. Like, it was a thing back then.
Wow.
No, so he left after my freshman year, and when he left, I was like, man, I don't want to be stuck with these dudes, so I'm out of here. I played in the U.S. Olympic Festival in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Played really well. Lateral was at the University of Georgia. We were home. He was actually at the Olympic Festival, and he and I were talking. I said, I think I'm leaving. Man, about 30 minutes later, Tavesta Anderson, Coach A, was calling me from University of Georgia, starting the recruiting process. Signed at UGA. Big campus. You know what happened. Big campus, undisciplined. Hey, no classes, no grades. I try not to hide that story because it's such a huge part of where I ended up.
Yeah,
right?
You can tell it.
So,
you have to tell that. So that gonna help somebody. They
right?
They probably doing that right now. No,
exactly.
We know they is.
We know they doing it. So I ended up at Pfeiffer. Best decision of my life. Small school, 600-700 students maybe, right? But hella good people. Had a great 2 years. Coach Lutz, my head coach, still tight to this day. There's a reunion Day after tomorrow, because we went to the Final Four twice while I was there, NAIA Final Four. There's a reunion this weekend. The entire team gets back together once a year. So it was a tight group.
Wow.
And I think that was the journey. But, it's funny. In business, I have this philosophy. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll get low, right? I'm going to get low in business too. I learned that from all of those moves, right? From going from SIU to Georgia to Pfeiffer to LA to the Lakers to the Clippers to the Grizzlies I don't have a team. I am a basketball guy. I am a businessman. My thought process is simple. Whatever it takes to win. That's what we do. And that was my mentality as a hooper. So, we talk about that mentality. That's what it was. It became, I'm getting low. Y'all can, and both of y'all played hoops. So, low shoulders win, right? If I can get my shoulders below your shoulders, right? Get low. So after all of that, to answer your question, that's the best example I can give. Low shoulders win. Get low if you want to win. That's what we do every day.
I like that. That's real there. Well, listen, man, we want to do this thing called halftime with you.
Okay.
And what it is we're going to hit you with some quick hitters. And my man Agee going to jump it off first, man. Hit him, Agee.
Let me get just one. A player and a team. Your toughest high school matchup, player and a team.
Gulfport High School, Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Easily. It ain't even close. It ain't even close. You guys, if you guys weren't on the coast, you didn't get a chance to see him at that level.
Yeah.
The stuff he was doing at the NBA was the stuff he was doing in high school. We were not ready.
What?
We were not ready. But I told you guys, so I had Lateral was in the city next to mine. Me and Lateral grew up 7 minutes apart.
Wow.
Right? He averaged 30 and 10. He was a McDonald's All-American. Mahmoud was 20 minutes the other direction. Right? All along I-10 on the Gulf Coast. When we faced each other, either one of those two teams, my senior year, they moved us to a 7,000-seat arena.
Wow.
Because we were a show. Like a show. I think, like I said, I averaged 15 points a game. I bet I got 7 dunks a game. And they were high-flying dunks. Then you got Mahmoud and Lateral, right? And then I was the fourth best player on my roster. So, yeah, it was good time. So easily Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
That is crazy. That's crazy. All right, man, give me 3 players in college that you played with or against that you thought should have made it to the league.
Stacey Poole, University of Florida, 1988 through 92. My point guard at Pfeiffer, Tony Smith, NAIA All-American. His jersey is retired in 4 different places in Europe. Dude was a baller, like next level baller. Fourth guy, that might be a little tougher. I might go with this cat named Marshall Wilson that I played with at the University of Georgia. He was a 6'8", ultra fluid small forward that could shoot it from 3, put it on the floor, make the right pass. He was Scottie Pippen 2.0.
Wow.
But he was so fluid and so easy going in the game that people didn't think he had that fire. Like, imagine, how people talked about T-Mac. Oh, he doesn't really want to be here. No, he's just that damn good that he doesn't have to put forth the same effort. So
Right.
I would probably say Marshall Wilson would be number 3.
That is.
Hey, your three toughest college stadiums you played in.
Ooh, let's see. Wichita State,
Really?
LSU, Vanderbilt.
Oh,
Vanderbilt has that raised court, and you sit off kind of like opera style.
yeah.
And Vandy, Vandy's a 4.0 school. So you got all of these super smart kids that dive into your background and they coming at you hard. They talking about, when you didn't do this or, when you didn't do that. So definitely I'd say those 3 right there.
Now, you talked about this earlier. You said that McClain gave it to you. I want the opposite. Have you ever gave it to a guy and when you met him in the league, who was it?
I would say probably Shaq.
Really?
Yeah. We played against each other when he was at LSU. I was at UGA. I had my season high against Shaq at LSU. Now he still got his. They got 25 or something like that. But I think I had like 22 points and 13 rebounds. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I had my season high against Shaq. And after the game, they bring us in. Shaq's All-American, and they're giving me the interviews. Oh, you played against Shaquille O'Neal, and he dominated the game, and da 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 da. I said, listen, man, he had 24. Last week he played against Arizona. Arizona had, God rest their souls, Sean Rooks and Brian Williams, Bison Dele. They were both All-Americans. He had like 35 against them. So that's what I told him. Like, hey, man, you all coming at me like he dominated me.
Right.
I held him to fewer points than they did. So as far as I'm concerned, this was my night. Like, y'all tripping.
Right. Like, I had my best night.
I had my best night. So I would probably say Shaq.
Your favorite sneakers that you played in during your career?
Jordan 4s, Jordan 5s. I think it was the Jordan 5s with the little shark teeth on the side. I think it was the 5. I had to look them up. But easily my favorite. I ain't even close. First, I'm an MJ. I told you, I've admitted I'm an MJ guy. Okay. So anything Jordan is going to be my favorite. But that particular shoe, because it had a lot of technology that was forward thinking, but it was also retro at the time. Definitely, I think it's the 4 or the 5. I had to look it up.
It's the 5. It's the 5.
It's the 5. Okay.
Will, I like how you say here, MJ guy, but when Jordan went baseline on him, he had to pin Jordan shit to the glass. Took it off the glass. Took it off the glass like with one hand, Will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still trying to find a picture of that, by the way. I can't find it. I've seen the video, so I'm trying to find a picture.
Yeah, I'm like, look at Harv, got never pinning Mike shit on the glass and taking it down.
So it's funny, man. We were talking about LeBron and old boy, and how the praise, Draymond Green and the praise, and you can't do that with guys that are your contemporaries. But I grew up with Jordan on my wall in college, right? He was all wall to wall, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
My rookie year, he was out of the league. My second year, he was making his comeback, and there was rumors, and he came back 2 games after we played them my second season. So I'm in my third year, and I hadn't seen MJ yet. And the game that you're talking about where I blocked his shot is also the game where he got off the bench and made his comeback and beat us in Vancouver. Matt knows that story.
Oh, yeah.
But what people don't know is the day before that game at the Vancouver practice facility, there were multiple courts. But one court was enclosed, 4 walls, you couldn't see out. Then on the other side, they had like rec courts or whatever. So we're practicing on our court. We finish our practice. I go to the weight room. I'm sitting on the bench press. I'm getting my strong on, right? I'm doing my thing. I sit up, take a breath, look to my left or my right. That's Mike right there. Shut it down. Straight schoolgirl at a concert. Sitting there staring at Mike.
What'd you say, Harv? I was saying schoolgirl. Shut it down.
Like, I'm talking about, I know at a certain point he had to be like, who is the weird dude staring at me right there? Ask me if I cared. I ain't care.
Right.
I ain't care. That's my idol. That's my basketball idol. That's Black Jesus sitting right there. Yeah. Staring.
Harv say day over.
Gail couldn't even get the rest of my workout in. I'm just watching Mike.
Workout.
I'm thinking, look at the sweat on his elbow. I want I turned into a straight up fan. I had never been a fan of nothing. I was a Jordan fan that day.
But then you go block his shot though.
Once they threw it up, it was on him. Look, I'm a fan until they throw it up. The only person I was ever I ever tried to take a slightly different approach with on the court was Shaq when he got to the league. because dude was so big you couldn't guard him. Right. And he was not only big, he was agile, he was athletic, and he was mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't realize he's a big joker dude now, but on the court, he wanted to embarrass you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you had to go on the court and talk to him like, hey man, how your family doing? Everything good?
How was your pregame meal?
Man,
right. Y'all still at the same hotel?
You see what I'm saying? Man, why you ain't call me, man? I would have come through and scoop jump. We could have went got dinner or something. My treat, dog. It's all good.
Yeah, but you know what you're right about that, man. People don't recognize how massive Shaq was, man. Like just, and I ain't even just talking about his height, but his everything was massive.
Everything.
Man. That joker had big hands, big feet. I mean,
everything. Dog, we had a game plan. I'll never forget my when I was with the Blazers, we had a game plan. And the game plan was meet him early, meaning when he's coming down the court, you want to meet him way out past the 3-point line and just, fight him down to the post. Don't just give him the position. So we're playing him as late in the season, and Tim Gergerich is one of our assistant coaches, and Gerg is like the guru of basketball. Like, he's my guy. But Gerg is yelling at me, Harv, meet him early. Like, this is all game. Finally, I look at Gerg, I say, man, I am meeting him early. It don't matter. He is walking my ass right down to the post, getting the ball and dunking it. Like, stop yelling at me. I can't do nothing with this dude. I'm trying, coach.
Hey, Harv, like this,
yes.
He just pushing Harv back, like.
Hey, you know what happened that game, right? They put the game up there. It got Shaq name. They was just put good luck. There are no tendencies, just good luck.
Yes, good. There are, like, for real. Because and the thing with Shaq is, and this is not to diminish his accomplishments, but he wasn't a skilled player. He was just dominant. Like, dominant at a level we had never seen before. So yeah, you couldn't game plan. Is he going to turn over his right shoulder? We don't know. Is he going to turn over his left shoulder? We don't know. We just know he wants to get close enough to dunk it on your head.
I don't say that you did know. He was going to dunk it. That you did know.
Every time.
Yes.
Oh man, that dude.
Hey man, give me your 3 toughest players you played against in the league.
Oh, MJ, Kobe. Oh, let me see. Let me think about the third one. You know what? I give Scottie Pippen a lot of love, man.
Yeah.
Pip does not get nearly the amount of love he deserves for that era. And I could probably throw Charles in there. I throw names that people don't necessarily recognize. Wayman Tisdale, God rest him. Wayman Tisdale was a monster.
A beast.
Right? Like, there's a lot. I can't name 3 because I'd have to look at Shawn Kemp.
Wayman was hyped coming into the league, and he lived up to the hype when he came into the league. Like, he was like, man.
Let me tell you something.
Yep.
Tisdale was another guy like Shaq, man. Big, massive, but he was so feathery, though, man.
Ooh,
yes, so soft with it.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness, man.
They tried to find new versions of him. Like, and I look at Stacey King. They thought Stacey King was going to be Wayman Tisdale. They thought Doug Smith at Missouri was going to be Wayman Tisdale. But you can't, nobody could replicate what dude was capable of.
Nope.
He was a monster. My first 5 games. So I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you're aware, you did your research. I'm the only undrafted rookie to start opening night, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my first 5 games, I faced Charles Barkley, Shawn Kemp, Wayman Tisdale, LaFonso Ellis, and I'm trying to think of the 5th. The 5th escapes me right this second. So, but I can tell you that after that 5th game, Randy Funn called me in his office and said, we're probably not going to start you anymore. Because they was wearing my ass out. Damn. like what an induction to the NBA. That's my 4 or 5.
That's
like,
right. Welcome.
I told Coach, I said, hey, man, I'm good with that. Like, Yeah, let me come in against the second
Hey.
unit. Maybe I can do something. But that first unit,
Hey, let me tell you something. Can't nobody tell you ain't did shit in your life, man. Somebody, oh man, you ain't did shit, Tone. Hold on, I done got it, my Nick. Let me tell you something. I got it.
Yeah.
5 Hall of Famers. My first indoctrination into the NBA. Don't tell me. I don't know.
I can tell you who the fifth was. It was Karl Malone. Because I just remember it was 5 heaters. And yeah, it was Karl Malone was number 5. Yeah.
Man.
Life was good.
You know,
But you know what? Go ahead.
I'm kind of speechless right now because see, that's always my thing. These cats be like, man, I want to get in the league. I be telling cats, yeah, but what you gonna do when you got a guard, Damian Lillard on Monday, Kyrie on Tuesday, Steph on Wednesday? I'm just like, what? Do you know what you running into?
And you chose the highest of the high. You ain't even talking about Russell Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder and Chris Paul and Trae Young and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you really want this smoke? Do you really want it?
They don't want the smoke because them the same guys that won't get in the gym. They won't even get in the gym to prepare for
won't even get in the gym. You know, I know you guys have seen these people. We've all dealt with them at one point or another. I have actually had people say stuff to me like, yeah, but you didn't play. So I don't even know what that means. Right. Yeah, but you didn't play.
Right.
What does that even mean? At the time, there were 411 players in the NBA. Right. And I said, and this is the way I looked at it. This is still the way I look at it. And this is my mentality in business today. I was one of the top 0.1% of basketball players in the world.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what you've done in business. I don't care what you've done in other things or what you've done in life. If you can't say that you were top 0.1% in your field over an extended period of time, don't talk to me. Right? Don't try to diminish what I'm capable of, is what I'm saying. I'm not putting them down.
Right.
I just put it this way. I just be telling cats, listen, hey man, the last man on the bench will still get you 30. So
and I used to do that in summer leagues when they let us go. Oh man, it's my time. I get to handle the ball, I get to be me.
I'm the goat of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pocket's macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffer, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah.